Hi guys, welcome to the next episode of the M&M Update with your host AJ Morris. Hey AJ.
Hello, hey guys.
And me, of course, the little tiny titan, Vicky Masita. And my hair is seeming to get pinker by the day. What do you think, AJ?
Oh, it's definitely increasing in pink. It's definitely way less red now.
Which is, not strong.
What colour are you going for the finals? Do you know yet?
It's going to have to be red, though, again, isn't it? Because unfortunately, due to the fact that the finals were only 7 weeks after our qualifier, I couldn't get a new bikini. So, it's going to have to go red again.
That's something we should maybe touch on at some point, is the ridiculous cost and the ridiculous difference in cost between female and male competing. We should make a whole separate episode on that, because I think that's ridiculous, Like, I've secretly changed trunks. I've got some new trunks this weekend, so I picked them up off Iron Monkey, which are great, by the way. Highly recommend them for male posing trunks, and I picked them up and got them delivered like within sort of a week. But obviously with the female thing, you got to wait for all the pretty decorations to be put on it, and sell your house to buy one. And
seriously, I'm not even kidding. And you shouldn't really joke about these things, but seriously, I mean, I'm very, very lucky. I've got the most amazing sponsor in the world, but I still obviously have to pay some money towards my bikinis and things. And one of the biggest issues as well about choosing a bikini is that it's got to go with your look, and it's got to obviously suit you. Because if you just go with like a black bikini with a couple of diamantes in every now and again, that isn't my personality at all. Do you know what I mean? It just looked ridiculously stupid on me, I think. And it wouldn't go with my skin color or anything along those lines. And you have to get it ordered 6 to 8 weeks in advance. Now, that's one of the biggest issues, because I'm not being funny, but you can lose a lot of fat on your ass in 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, measurements change drastically.
Okay, guys, so we had a little bit of interference there, but not to worry. We are back with the M&M update, so we're just going to get straight into it, just because of the simple fact that me and AJ have still got some box-ticking steps to do later on this evening. So, AJ, how have things been going with you this week? Saw an epic picture of your ass first thing this morning at 6:30, which was greatly appreciated for your check-in, and they have got some nice deep striations in them right now. So let's first of all talk about your ass and how uncomfortable it is to sit on now that it has got those deep grooves in it.
I tend to, it's weird, like I tend to see that my any sort of glute striations are pretty obvious, or at least they're at their peak in the morning. So like as the day goes on, I'll be like fuller, but the sort of the cuts in the glutes might look less apparent as the day goes on. They're most dry in the morning, which is why I inboxed you with an ass shot in the morning. But yeah, nevertheless,
of course, and greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Nevertheless. So this past week has been, or the past two, to be honest. Like the last one where we checked in, of course, I was saying things were interesting in terms of scale weight not really changing, but seeing differences in the physique, and that sort of continued to happen throughout this week. So whilst my calories were very similar, I was still seeing pretty much daily changes in terms of like getting leaner, and I just felt like I could feel body parts coming in. Like I felt my glutes, like I was literally feeling them, because you get to that point in contest prep where you spend a large proportion of your day touching yourself in different places to see whether you're getting any leaner, which is weird and odd, but that is life as a bodybuilder. So we
or as a man,
or as a man,
general man.
As a man in general, just feeling yourself. And so
feeling things getting harder in different places. AJ Morris, there are young children listening to this.
Damn it, we shouldn't record so late. So yes, this past week I really haven't dropped any scale weight until actually this morning. So this morning I hit a new low, like overall the entire prep. I've never been this light. So I was 150 on the dot. So the lightest I've been before that was, I think, 150.2 or 0.4, and that was actually in the midst of a pretty low calorie, higher fat. So I was more depleted at that point. So if anything, I'm like lighter and a little bit fuller to an extent. So that's pretty cool. So that's pretty cool, and which definitely it definitely actually made me chill out a little bit, because I was like, oh yeah, there's some actual fat loss there on the scale showing up now. Thank God for that, for fuck's sake. I felt like shit for the last 2 weeks for nothing, for no scale weight loss. And to be honest, it's really weird. Like, even this just shows the whole fuckery with scale weight, right? Because that weigh-in, like, I know that we shouldn't get obsessed with weigh-ins, and I know that we shouldn't get like attached to them, but that weigh-in, I was like, like, I actually feel a bit more motivated now, because the last 2 weeks, yes, I'd been seeing changes in the physique, but weighing in and stepping on that scale every morning and just not seeing anything move, and if anything, some days seeing it go up, and me feeling like shit, in my head I was like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm staying the same, when in reality I'm not staying the same. I'm actually progressing. Like, the physique is changing, but the scale weight just wasn't, and that's just so frustrating in my head. So yeah, that was a nice revelation. But apart from that, like, the only thing that I did do the last 2 days was I reduced carbohydrates a little bit further by 20 grams a day. So that would have elicited some slight changes. Just to basically, what I wanted to do is, realistically, I knew that I was going to be doing 3 back-to-back high days. My scale weight wasn't really changing, so I wanted to just pull things back just a little bit so that I could get some element of recompensation and have the feeling that at least when I was putting in the carbohydrates, like, I felt like there was a little bit of space for them to start going in, a little bit more room created by a little bit more of a deficit, if that makes sense. So it's not any sort of
definitely
nowhere near as drastic as I did for the first show. And actually today, like, I put up on my Instagram, I'm sure lots of people have seen it already, a comparison of a side chest versus a side chest, like both 3 days out, and you can see, like, in my legs, just they have come in, like, they have. So I feel way less stressed now. Not that I was super stressed, but I was just like a bit irritated. I just feel happier, which is great. So that's how the week's gone, really. And other than that, I've just been chilling, getting a little bit of the old anxious feelings now as we get closer to the actual show day itself. Because as much as I got the first one out of the way and I've got a trophy sitting here right in front of me, I still feel a bit anxious about the fact that I still want to do really, really well this weekend. So I'm like, oh God, like, you know, who's going to turn up? You know, so I need to sleep well, and then you just realise, fuck it, it's just another week. Like, it's just another week. You just enjoy yourself. And training-wise, before you ask, because you probably will ask, it's been unreal. And I think the reason why is because I've changed training times. Thank the Lord for whoever created that bank holiday, because that bank holiday made me train early. It made me train at like 2:30, 3 p.m. instead of 5 p.m. Oh my God, unreal. Way better session, and like just way better fluidity of energy. And I come home, I have another meal, I go for a walk, and then by the time I've done all of that, like, I'm already at my pre-bed meal, and the day just seems to go much more efficiently, because I work way more efficiently just in the morning anyway. Usually after lunch, I'm like, fuck work, like, I can't concentrate anymore. I'm way more efficient and neurologically focused in the morning. Just get all my work done, really nice and efficient, eat my pre-training meal, train, come home, eat, go for a walk, eat, go to bed. Like, it's just such a nice routine, and routine's so key, guys. So that's pretty much me, like, training wise and nutrition wise, updated. In terms of what I'm doing right now, I'm doing 3 days of higher carbohydrates to load into the show, and that's literally where I'm at right now. First day of carbohydrate loading, so I feel a little bit better.
Excellent. And are you going to train when you do these carb loads as well? Because one of the questions I wanted to ask you about your carb load, actually, are you going to increase your amount of carbs that you put in from the qualifiers that you did at the BNBF?
Well, for the BNBF, I only did 1 day. I did a very, 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 very late backload. So I did a refeed of 750 grams on the Saturday for a Sunday show. So now I'm doing, the first day was today, Thursday, and I've done 400 grams, which is quite conservative. I imagine I'll just zip through that like nothing, especially as the fact that I've trained today. I've done pretty normal expenditure, just done no cardio, but just steps, but normal steps, no changes. I tend to feel like just better when I just keep my expenditure the same. Like my legs never look swollen or like different from expenditure. They never seem to look different. So I just keep that the same, because if anything, I feel like it helps substrate move around a little bit more. I feel really weird in phases where I just sit and eat, but I'm sure there's a point that I'll have to try that and I'll have to see what effect it has. But right now I'm way too stubborn to do it. And if anything, I'm a little bit scared, Vicky, to be honest. I'll be honest with the listeners. I'm a little bit scared just to sit and eat. Sometimes I am scared to do that. So, yeah. What was the question again? Fuck.
Are you going to be changing the amount that you're doing, and are you going to train on your 3 days of carb loading?
Yeah, so I've trained actually completely normal this week. The only thing that's changing is my Friday leg day is now like a circuit style pumpy session, nothing to failure, and then Saturday is the same. So the only sessions that have changed, Friday and Saturday. The rest of the week has been normal, which is actually, I think, it promoted a little bit of a better look. I look better when I'm not like backing off. I think the cell swelling response from a little bit of hard training actually makes my physique look a little bit better. Definitely no sort of definitely no water retention from that. And obviously I'm not going to be doing my usual Friday leg day with deadlifts and everything, 1 or 2 days out from a shot.
Can you imagine?
Don't think that would be too sensible. Even though I want to go and crush deadlifts tomorrow, I actually really want to do that. But it would just be stupid. So I'm doing 400 today, and then literally it's just wake up, assess. So I can imagine that I might send you a few photos tomorrow, and I'll be like, what do you think? And I'll also be like, what do you think to Jack? Jack will see me post-workout. He said already today, he was like, you look better already. And I was like, well, mate, I can't look that much better. I've only had like an extra bit of potato pre-workout. And he's like, no, you look better. And
potato
like,
gains, dude.
Yeah. He was like, no, you look better. And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, and to be fair, I looked at the pictures, did look a bit fuller, so that's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, it's just a case of like waking up and assessing. If I feel like I've gone too far and I've spilled a little bit, all I'll do is I'll expend a little bit more energy and then back off the food if I've got the time to do so, which is the benefit of using more days other than just one. Because obviously one wasn't enough, first thing, and then two didn't give me any time to assess. So yeah, that's the situation. It's just like wake up, assess, see how I'm looking, see how I'm feeling, see what the scale weight says, and then go from there. To be honest, I can imagine that tomorrow will be a little bit higher, Saturday might be a little bit higher, and then the idea is, hopefully on show day, I'm not having to worry about anything because I've got plenty of substrate in me. So what I don't want to do is sort of get to Sunday show day and have to think about, damn it, like, I need to shovel in food. And shoveling in food on show day, whilst it seems like fun, it's actually not. You can just cause a load of bloat.
Yeah.
And also, you shouldn't be stressing on show day. Like, if you've got enough substrate inside of you from, like, 2 or 3 days of loading, you'll know that whatever happens, you're going to get a wacky pump. And you're going to be full.
Yeah.
So I think I feel way less stressed this time round. Because I'm not, like, pinning all my hopes on one day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's the better way to go as well. Just wake up, assess, have a bit more, have a bit less, expend a bit more energy. Don't do any more energy expenditure. It's the best way to kind of do it, isn't it? Because even though we call bodybuilding a science, it's not a perfected science.
Yeah.
And it's all individualized as well. So the principles behind everything that you do, peaking for a show, everything leading up to that show, and even thereafter, it is all scientifically and evidence backed and based.
100%.
But you and I already know, just based on ourselves, we could have been grown in a lab, as well as some other people as well that we know very much so, like people like Dan Parks and people who can get ridiculously lean on really high calories. That's not backed by science. That's backed by individuality, and how you react to certain macronutrients. So it's good to just kind of assess it on your own goals. And that's one of the biggest things that I want to put out there to the guys who are listening as well. Don't just you can be too science-based, you can be too evidence-based and not actually concentrate on the individuality of a prep.
Yeah.
So, definitely take that on board.
Anecdotal stuff is very key for sure, guys. Absolutely. Like, you need to be taking note of like what works, and even if it does sound, it is a bit broy or something, like, still take note of it. It does matter. So yeah, I think that's about me, like, covered, to be honest, Vic. So we'll move on to you and how you're doing. So I know that you've had a really, really busy few days, and you're like tired. Some training sessions have been tough. So run us through sort of this week, like what's been going on. Describe what you have to do to sort of like on a day-to-day basis to sort of serve your client base, and take us through things. What's been going on?
Okay, so first off, the most important thing, coffee. That has got me through the mornings of these last couple of days.
Yeah.
Plenty of black coffee, yeah? Mm-hmm. Plenty of black coffee. So over the last 3 days, I've had really early morning clients. So I've been starting the day at 4:30 in the morning, because even though my clients start at 6:30, 7 o'clock, I've needed to get some steps in. To tick those boxes and stuff. So I've been getting up early and getting a few of those in before I start my busy day with clients. Then I've obviously got clients one-on-ones, and then I've got client updates for my online clients as well. Then I've got new podcast recording, more steps, the kids that need sorting out because they're still on holiday, believe it or not. Thankfully they go back on Monday, so that'll get me back into a bit better of a routine.
Sure.
Training wise this week, I've switched it up, so I'm not going hard and heavy, because I just did 2 really heavy weeks of rep ranges between 6 and 8 and 8 and 10. So just to kind of give my joints a little bit of a rest, I've increased my rep range. But actually, what I found really interesting this week is that once you start to increase a rep range, you should really come down in weights in order to achieve the desired rep range. Well, obviously. Well, I didn't. And I actually used the same, I know, right? So I actually used the same weights. So I'll use like bicep curls, right? For example, standing bicep curls, I used a 20 kilo barbell, and I did 4 sets of 12 reps, I think, last week, or 4 sets of 10 reps with a 4-second eccentric. So that's the negative part of the lowering part of your bicep curl, with a 4-second negative. And I managed to kind of fail on the 12th rep, with no bro swinging, perfect rep, right? So this time my rep range was between 14 and 18, just with a 2-second eccentric and a 2-second squeeze at the top. And I still used the 20K barbell and still did 4 sets of 18.
Wow.
So it was like, strong. Really love that. Strong. So, but that was the same with every exercise. And it was just like, do you know what? I've obviously started gaining some kind of strength here as well. And now I'm just accumulating all of that strength going into some higher volume stuff, which is really exciting and interesting. And then like yesterday, I don't know if anybody saw the Instagram post that I put on, but what has 2 thumbs and got PBs on every fucking exercise on leg day.
Smashed
this bugger. It was, mate, it was really funny. And do you know what was so funny? I started doing front squats, right? So I haven't done front squats for a really long time. Started doing front squats. And it's never been my strongest squat. But I started doing it. I'm getting super good quality depth. I'm really feeling it in my quads. Really enjoying it. So I did my front squats again yesterday. And I was so pumped, I put another 2.5 kilos on the bar, which doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're doing that rep ranges and you go into depth, you're using, on a front squat, 2.5 kilo in a week, it's a lot. So I was doing those with a 3-second negative, a 2-second pause in the hole, and then obviously powering up. That is hardcore. And I went from 45 kilo front squat for 4 sets of 8, and went up to 47.5 for 4 sets of 9, with all of those pauses. And on my last set, I was so desperate to get those last few reps that I always wear headphones when I do my squats, because I just don't want anybody to bother me. So I had these big mofo fuck off headphones on, right? And on the last 3 reps, I felt myself failing. And you just get that aggression just come into you. And I had the bar up here like this, and I was going, come on! And it's going down, and the other people are like laughing at me. Some women are like scared of me. And then the very, very last squat, I got into the hole, held it for 2 seconds, and then literally, I haven't screamed so much in my life trying to get this fucker up. But on the way up, literally going, ah!
Sounds like me on the hack squat.
Oh, mate, it was. Yeah. After I saw that video, I was like, shit. It was just purely me. It was so funny. So, yeah, I think I scared a few people at that point, especially wearing my T-shirt saying Tiny Titan. It must have looked ridiculous. But do you know what? Who cares? If it helps you get that last rep up, girls, grunt and scream however loud you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
You want to get that squat up, get it up.
Yeah,
so that was.
I found that recently, like, making noise actually really helps. Like, it's something that I didn't really used to do, to be honest. It really fucking helps. Especially when you're in a deficit and you're, like, having to grind for the reps. Like, just shouting and screaming. Like, sometimes it just, it takes you to that next level. I totally agree with that. Too many girls, like, are a bit afraid of the noise, I think.
Oh, it's just funny. I mean, I see these girls and they don't want to lift heavy because they don't want to make noise. And then, you see guys who are lifting, 6 kilo barbells or 6 kilo dumbbells, and they're making as much noise as they can and wearing a weight belt and everything else. It's like, oh dear God, really? Come on, man, serious. But yeah, so that was training. So I've actually had a really good time doing training this week, even though it has been hard, and it has been tough and a grind. The reason why it's been hard as well is that we had a little talk beforehand. I've been cold, like serious cold. Not just wearing a hoodie going out on our evening walks, but I'm talking like wearing a T-shirt, some thermals and 2 hoodies with my hood up and my zip across my nose, and I'm still chuffing freezing. So
I'm not surprised, to be honest. Fun. You are a small individual that is also very fucking lean. So you're probably not going to be warm, to be honest. And you're probably not going to be warm for a good 4 or 5 months, mate, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm not excited about it.
It's uncomfortable, right, isn't it? It's such a pain in the arse. You come home and you actually just want to be warm. You actually just want to, just have a bit of heat. And then your hands are cold and you got 5 client messages to answer on WhatsApp and you can't type. So you have to do a voice note.
Yeah.
And then have you ever had issues with speech? Like slurring words?
Yes.
I keep slurring everything when I'm tired. And then when my mouth gets a bit cold from the evening walks. I came home last night and my mum asked me a question and I literally said it in Argentinian or something after. I literally couldn't get out the words that I wanted to say. If any other language besides English was what I said. So yeah, it's very interesting. I think it's a combination of obviously being lean, being cold, not too fun.
Yeah.
Finally, Vic, so that's training. That's pretty good. That's sick. That's awesome. That's wicked. Happy for you. Now, what about sort of where you're at with nutrition? What's the plans for I know that we sort of had a chat midweek about your body weight and then chucking in cardio and then what you want to do. So where's macros been this week and what's the plan for next week? If you've got one yet.
So I'm going to change up the plan tomorrow, I would have thought, because then we are getting very, very close to 4 weeks out. So no cardio has been implemented as of yet. I think the midweek weigh-in head fuckery weight scale going up by 2.5 pounds was literally just an anomaly. It was very, very hot the last couple. Yeah, it was too hot the last 2 days, and I was still covered up because, if you don't wear blankets in bed, then the boogeyman's going to get you. So you've got to stay covered up even though you're hot. I don't know if you know that rule, but, you can't be exposed, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know it now.
Yeah. So make sure, don't leave a hand hanging over the bed because that fucking monster will get you, right? Anyway, so I was covered up. It was hot in my room. I probably, used up a lot of hydration that I had that day, and so I was actually storing quite a lot of water, and that's the reason why my weigh-in was quite high.
Yeah, I see that happen.
But Yeah, but I mean, I'm back down to 104 again today, and I'm lean as fuck. And what is funny is that I went to go and see my consultant today about my hamstring and my glute.
Okay.
And he showed me my MRI scan. Right, now, I'm actually going to put it on. So, people, if you're not watching this on YouTube, I apologize, but I'm actually going to show AJ and bring this picture up onto the camera. Right, this is my MRI scan. So, can you see that?
There's a human body on the screen.
That is a human body, right? Now, all of that white... There is some pelvis and some quads. Check out the quads, dude.
Oh, there they are.
But the white outline is basically body fat.
Wow.
Okay?
Fuck me.
Now,
nothing.
That's exactly right. Nothing. So the white outline is supposed to be at least that much thicker.
Yeah.
And the consultant said to me that the MRI he saw there, he has never seen anybody with that amount of body fat or lack of in an MRI scan before.
That's a win.
I know. I was like that. I need to take a picture of it. So I was actually categorized at that point for a woman, right? Dead. And the body fat on my... Yeah, I was dead. This is why I'm so fucking cold. Dead, right?
Deceased.
Yeah, exactly. But I was categorized in the MRI scan as being sub 8% body fat.
Awesome.
Right?
And that for a female is uncharted territory.
That's for a... any So they actually didn't have a percentage. They literally just said sub 8% because they didn't go below 8%.
Unreal.
So made my day, and I was quite happy with that. I was like, you know what, I can be conditioned then. Nobody can tell me that I can't get lean, which is cool. Nice. So nothing's changed with nutrition, nothing's changed with cardio. Like I said last week, the only thing that we did was increase my steps to 15,000, so they've been constant. If anything, I've been doing a little bit more because I've been really busy.
Yeah.
So I have had to take NEAT into consideration, and I've had like 10 clients a day as well, and loading leg presses up 10 times a day is hardcore for NEAT. So again, guys, take that into consideration when you're cutting. If you are a PT, or your feet all day and that kind of thing, then take into consideration what you're actually doing every single day, not just the steps that you're doing as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think that's about it for me as well. I'll do my check-in tomorrow, so I'll do my weights measurements. You'll obviously have some ass pictures as well, which is always enjoyable. Yay for the ass! And I'll get my lighting right as well. And yeah, guys, if you're going to do check-in pictures, listen to what AJ says and use the same fucking lighting, the same camera, the same variables, because I started pissing myself off by having a different lighting go on. I know, proper fucked your head, right?
Tell you what, fucked my head the other day. I woke up, it was too dark to take my photos, decided to take them later, took them later, and the lighting had changed, and wow, it fucked me off. Wow. Yeah. I was like, no, this isn't right, this isn't right at all, this looks shit, this looks awful, and in reality, they look fine. And if you ever take shit progress pictures, pro tip, walk away from them, and then look at them later. And when you get an objective point of view, you'll be better. Like, you'll find them, like, you'll look at them in a different angle, and you'll view them differently. One of the two things I was going to mention, for anyone that didn't see the image of Vicky's MRI, and if you're listening on iTunes, I know a lot of people do. To describe it, it looks like a bit of like her fat. It's like bacon. Bacon should have like a decent amount of fat around the edge. It's like a bacon strip with like no fat. That's what it looks like on the MRI. Unreal. That's what I saw in the image. It's like absolutely.
That's so funny.
Absolutely lean as fuck bacon. That's what Vicky is right now.
I'm a medallion. I'm an
absolute medallion. Yeah.
Oh dear God.
Vicky Medallion Masita.
I'm a turkey rasher.
Yeah,
I'm not even proper bacon.
Yeah, turkey rasher.
I'm a turkey medallion.
Oh, amazing.
Good old Matheson's got nothing on me, boy. Oh dear. You can tell that this has been recorded at 8 o'clock at night and not at like 3 in the afternoon. When we did it, we're just going a bit fucking mental. Absolutely. We're going to actually turn into these M&Ms, I tell you. Oh, so cool. Funny. So funny.
Anyway. One more thing that I wanted to finish on is When this gets released, I'm not sure when it will, but if it does get released slightly before, then best of luck to Big Steve competing in his first show Saturday. So best of luck to Big Steve, because we love Big Steve at Revive, and they do a very similar podcast to this, Revive to Stage. Make sure you check that out, because we don't want to appear like we're copying them or anything like that. We're just two people that want to put out content at the same time. Just so happens that they do a very similar thing, which is also very cool. But good luck to Big Steve, and I'm sure that he'll do very well. He's looking very peeled. So best of luck to him, and we'll leave it there. So yeah, thank you, Vicky. Lots of love.
No worries.
And
lots of love.
Thank you guys for listening. Cool. Peace out.